Alright guys, another little quadcopter here to test out. They call this the X31 folding drone, and this thing is pretty neat because it all fits into the transmitter here. It's just this little drone with folding, I guess you call them like folding arms, where the blades are connected to. Pretty standard control. It doesn't look like there's any trims on the control, the transmitter here, so that's kind of a little worrying. I like there to be trims usually, but we'll see how that works, and hopefully it's just got a nice trim to it. It's got a 6-axis gyro, 2.4 gigahertz transmitter and receiver, LED light, or as they say, dazzling light. Over here we'll just see kind of what things do. We have it says acceleration control button over here. That's probably your dual rates. On the right is the rotary key. I'm guessing that's the trick because this thing will do. It has the high speed and dual speed mode, headless mode, and it will do a flip. So there's a little bit of information on it. Here's how it opens up. And it doesn't say what batteries we need, but I'm sure we'll need some batteries for the transmitter. So let's go ahead and get it out of the box and take a closer look. Alright, so I opened up the box and this is everything that is in it. Just the transmitter, the quad. You got extra blades, and you have your charger. So this thing does charge off USB. It doesn't charge off the transmitter, which is actually good because the ones that charge off the transmitter drain the transmitter batteries too quick. So you just have your charge plug and your blades, and then you have your little quadcopter in here. Let's go ahead and get it out of there. And then, as I said, these arms fold, so let me go ahead. I got one hand on the camera here, but very easy. And they click into place. Just a little click. So there we go, little quad. It looks to be a little bigger than like a CX-10. I might show one of those before I start flying it, just so you guys can see the size of it compared to like a CX-10 or a Etsy's Proto X, or like that size of quad. It's a little bigger than those, but it's a little smaller than most micros I have. There is LEDs somewhere. Not sure 100% where until we turn this on, because I'm not seeing them necessarily right now, but there's supposed to be LEDs on there. So, transmitter, I did take off the back. It has a screw you have to unscrew, and you have 3 AAA batteries to put in there. Kind of weird, usually it's 2 or 4, but that makes no difference. 3 is just fine. So 3 AAA batteries, throw them in there, and good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get the quad charged up, get some batteries in the transmitter, and we'll go ahead and see how this little guy flies. I think I found some of the LEDs. I think that a couple of them are in there, on each side there. So yeah, let's get it charged up and see how it flies. Alright, so I just wanted to mention that was my mistake. There are trims on here actually. It's this pad down here, and this trims your forward, backward, right and left. There's no trim for throttle or spin as far as I can tell, but there is the right stick trim, which is good. This over here does your headless mode, which headless mode I don't like using. I think it's a gimmick. It also does your photos and videos, which my quad here doesn't have. They do make an X31 with a camera on it. I'm sure the camera's very poor quality, but they do make one with a camera on it, so there's some of the controls over here do that. This one just does the headless mode with the up button. And it looks like this up here is going to be the flip, and this is our dual rates like I said. So just wanted to clear that up. There is trim over here, and there's no instructions other than what's on the box. So when I plugged in the quad, the red light just turned off on the USB. I'm not sure if it's fully charged yet or not, but we're going to let it stay plugged in and then get a flight in. Alright guys, we're going to take this up in the air and see how it flies. Now when you plug this in, there's no light. The light on the charger turns on to red when it's fully charged. Now it's a little dark in here. It's a gloomy, rainy day outside, so it's not too bright in here. But with the lights on here, we should be able to see it fine indoors. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on. And then we'll turn on our transmitter. Give it a second, and then I'm going to press up and then down. I just did that on this stick, and that'll make it ready to fly. So we're going to bring this up in the normal slow mode first, and I might needs some trim, it looks like right away. Let me just put a little bit of trim in here and see if we can get a hands-off hover there. You know, that's pretty good. It's moving a little bit. No, it's moving back to the right. It's going down a little bit, so I might need more throttle, but that's a pretty sturdy little thing. Now, in this mode, wow, it's hard to correct things. This mode is super, super slow. I am full. Let me bring it back in here. I'll try to show you guys what happens when you go full on the left stick. It barely spins. It like spins super slow. So you're not going to get fast spins on this on low rates, but this is actually pretty stable. A beginner might be able to take this up once they have throttle management, so they don't just go up and down and up and down. Once you have throttle management, a beginner might be able to take this up and start learning how to hover in different directions. You just don't want to start going too quick because, as I showed, you really don't have much in the way of fixing yourself if you're going to crash, because this is all the tip we have. I know it's this little small helicopter, so hard to see. I'm trying to get it close to the camera. But that's all the tip we have in the slow rate. Very small amount of tip there. But we can fly it around. It's a small quad, so I'm going to try to keep it as close to the camera as I can here. And, you know, do a little kind of like, I'm kind of doing figure eights, but at the same time, it's so unresponsive. I mean, it's responsive, but it just doesn't have much tip, and it doesn't have much spin. So as an advanced pilot, it's really slow to me, and I'm not able to just kind of zip it around like I like to do with little quads and helicopters. You know, in the slow mode here, let's go ahead and try a flip. Press on the top right button, and then we'll select a direction. So let me get it over here. Hopefully we can get this on camera. I'm going to press the top right button and press up. Hopefully we got that on camera. I'm not sure. I'll do another one. I don't know if I'm going off the screen too high or not. I think we probably got that one there. That actually flips pretty good. Now the flips, of course, are just a gimmick. It's doing it for you. You know, you're not controlling it. But it's cool that it's, you know, just able to flip, and it actually does them as good as any other little quad I've had. You know, it flips just fine. And no big problems there. So the flips work. I'm not going to bother trying the headless mode, I don't think. I mean, maybe I'll give it a go. But if you don't know headless mode, I just don't like it. It's a gimmick. And usually works better on big quads, but sometimes it works just fine on these little ones. And it's supposed to make it so you don't need to have any orientation. But for learning purposes and for progressing, you want to learn how to fly properly. So I'd suggest not even trying these headless mode things. I think the only place that they might be useful is for beginners who want to have a quad that's going to be videotaping stuff, like a bigger, expensive quad, and you don't know how to fly great, so you use that. I think you should learn how to fly. But it could be useful in certain situations, like where aerial photography is involved. But for normal flight and learning this hobby, you just want to fly the standard, old-fashioned, learn how to control the helicopter in the air. So we're going to take it down here onto the table, or onto the ground. It bounced off. I'm going to press this. Now we're in double or fast mode. Let's go ahead and see what it'll do in this faster mode. See if it's more fun for a intermediate / advanced pilot. So let's go ahead and get it up here. Needs a little more trim again. Alright, let me bring it back a little bit. And trying to get just a little hands-off hover again. It's gonna hover about the same as it did in the other mode. It's just these are little tiny nano micro things, so I'm gonna give it a little throttle. So even a little like wind from my fan or my house central air is gonna make it move around a little. Now we got some speed here. Okay. Now this still is slow to me, but now I can start twisting it around a little bit. Whoop. And now I can kind of correct things. Whoa. But it's still not as fast as I would like it. It's not letting me bank and correct myself. So it's still kind of just like a intermediate type mode. Oop, oop. It's going that way. It looks like when I took off, it just wanted to go straight. So let me just, it looks like there's no damage to it. I'm just going to turn it off and on so it kind of recalibrates itself. Little durability test. I didn't crash hard or anything, so turn it back on there. Alright, now we're connected, but I'm going to Put it back in expert mode. And now it's fine. It kind of recalibrated itself, it looks like, so we're good. And in this one, we'll try to do the spins up close if we can. It's hard to get it to stay. And again, the spins are not that fast. Really not that fast at all. That's full spin. We can tip a little more than before, but still not much. So this is like a beginner / intermediate. If you're really a good pilot and you've been flying for a while, it's just, to me, it's not fun, because, I mean, it's not that it's not fun, it actually flies okay, but I'm used to having quadcopters and helicopters that I could, oh, that really fell back in there, quadcopters and helicopters that I could completely control. I can turn on a dime, you know, I can make them flip around a lot, and this one, it doesn't really have a high enough rate. The rates are very slow. Let's see. Okay, that time the crash didn't need any recalibration. But I can make this one fly around a little bit more fun now. I can't do like super quick turns. That's full stick to the, that's like, that was full left stick on both of the controls. And it just like, it barely wants to turn really quick. So, it's not bad, but it's not great. You just got to know that you're not flying something that has a ton of tip, a ton of control. It's not going to bank a lot. You can't spin really fast. But for a beginner or intermediate, someone that's maybe flown a coaxial or someone that's kind of has some flight sim time, this might be a good quad to start learning on, because it really does auto level itself well. You could fly it anywhere, you could take it anywhere in this transmitter. And there's one other thing I found out about the transmitter, which I'll tell you. Let's finish up this flight first. Whoa, see, I almost hit that lamp again. And I almost hit myself because I can't bank it and stop it. It just doesn't let me stop quick enough or bank enough to correct and like go fast if I want to go fast somewhere. But as you can see, I can zoom it around a little bit. It has some nice little control going on here. So, you know, those lights are kind of bright on that camera. Cover them up. So, you know, overall, it's pretty darn cool. If you just want to have it something that you could take out and show friends or just fly around for fun and have a relaxing flight, it'll be fine. It's kind of like flying a slow plane rather than a crazy trick fast plane or a jet. If you were going to compare it to like some other type of flying, it's a slower, not very fast one, but it has very good stability. It actually does fly very well for the low cost it is and for the cool little setup that they have here. So, you know, I'll give it a thumbs up. It's just not my preference because I'm more advanced flyer than that, and when I can't have full control, it's kind of just too slow for me. But it's still fun, pretty neat little thing, and I would definitely say if you're learning, or even if you have learned, if you're intermediate, great little quadcopter to have. Fits right in the transmitter. And one other thing I noticed, I screwed my transmitter back on so I can't show you right now. But when I showed my transmitter before, you saw that there was the 3 batteries and then an extra space in there. It was like weird, there was a space in there. And that's where you can put the charge plug, the USB charge plug. So I might not ever put this screw back in if I start using it for that, because the screw's just going to get in the way. It has a clip that holds it in there. So I think it's cool. You can take just this one little package, one little transmitter, and you can bring it anywhere and fly. And that's what's cool about it. And it does fly well. It's just not quite fast enough if you're an expert flyer. But I'll give it a thumbs up because it does do what it says it's going to do. It flips well, has good control. The gyros work well, it auto levels well. So, nice little thing. Have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy flying.